Michael the Duck. He's
Michael,
back.
was that what we?
I think that's what we settled on. I don't know if we did that on air, but that's definitely what we settled on off air. Is Michael the Duck makes a cameo for Game 2 of Day 2 here for the NLC, and yeah, I think it's just gonna be a straight gladiator fight in the top side between. Oh, it's a Ghost Darius, even worse. All right, so Ghost Darius with this Lee Sin on the top side, and then of course you've got the Renekton on the other with the Diana. Now, I from the get-go, I'll say NYYRIKKI definitely do have the winning 2v2, but what we have to take into consideration here is the supports coming up to the top side, I think, in this game. You have Ezreal, you have Ziggs. These guys do not care. They will just throw their skill shots at their waves and farm for eternity if they're actually given the opportunity to do so. So I'm looking at nukes. I'm looking, of course, at Abigail to walk up to the top side here and actually find some impact. And I think what's doubly scary is Lee Sin and wants a lot of setup. He gets some of that from Darius, but Leona walking up with him will give him that setup he needs. And Braum effectively has a full team of all attackers, so his passive is going to be really, really oppressive in this game for NYYRIKKI to deal with. So both junglers, actually no, it looks like MC will start on the top side. So potentially pathing down towards the bottom side instead, away from this Darius lane. Maybe they opt out of the straight fights in the top side. They recognize, all right, NYYRIKKI, Darius, Lee, a little bit too strong. We'll have to see, but Deceiver, 100% pathing to the top side to his Ghost Darius makes the most sense here.
And something that I want to keep my eyes on as well is this mid lane. Aero picking up the Victor, who has been very popular, but hasn't been very successful yet here in the NLC. We'll have to see if this is the first time where it differs, but Riddle have picked themselves a very nice, simple, straightforward. You can see what they're doing composition. And in the top lane, I mean, when it's Darius Renekton, as you said, it's just going to be a gladiator match. Part of me wants the junglers to get involved, part of me doesn't, just to see if Petoska and Kex, which one of them is better in this mechanical 1v1. But a big part of it, as you've already mentioned, suggests that MC and Desidra are not really going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, no, and I mean, definitely curious on MC's pathing. I think just doesn't really want to get involved in the top side, and I kind of get it, but if they do leave this Renekton on island, who, by the way, just had to blow Flash off screen. Ghost blown by Petoska. So already that's a flashless Renekton. Could definitely spell danger, because now, I mean, all you have to have happen is Lee Sin walks up here, maybe a stacked wave. Leona doesn't have prior on the bottom side, so we're not going to see some crazy reset into top side there, but slow Q isn't going to be able to respond either. It's just going to be more numbers, more likely towards the top side for NYYRIKKI, but for now, Riddle do have prior on the bottom side, so they get a little bit of vision here. On the entry to the bottom side. Shouldn't really get them too much because the Sid is on the top side of the map. Just finished up his Krugs. Looks like he'll go for Scuttle here. But maybe we don't get as much of a straight up fist fight in the top side. We'll have to see whether or not Kex can stay safe without his flash. But definitely, we're just going to have to keep on talking about it, because it's just one of those lanes where you don't get to cast over it often, you don't get to see it often in competitive. But when Darius comes out, it normally leaves a pretty big mark on the game.
We got Chemtech Dragon first off, so we're guaranteed a different soul. We just need Hextech now, Observers. Yep. I don't mind if it's this game. If we could get like next game, that'd be cool. Although Hextech in the final game of the day, just got to keep in mind you, XL versus X7, JDXL versus X7, is going to be on at the end of the day, so stay tuned for that one. But something that should be noted as well, and something that I want to keep my eyes on for NYYRIKKI especially, is in their game yesterday, they just weren't really capable of getting anything done early, which it was a problem for them. Astralis were really, really good at controlling the tempo of the game. Exactly. Are they more set up for later? In this
game? I think so. I think in this game they've got a lot more wave clear. So if they do start to fall behind, they can definitely sort of fall on that safety net of, okay, as long as we don't lose too much HP on these towers, then we can clear the waves out and get away kind of scot-free. Nice little trade there from Kex. Yeah, they can definitely lean on Aero on Azatar here to effectively kind of just prolong this game out for as long as necessary. But the issue is Riddle definitely capable of diving with Diana Yasuo. And speaking of dives, we have one potentially in the making here. Tosca's got a ward over the wall to at least try and smell this out early. We'll see if he gives up this wave, but he's already too far underneath the tower, so this is going to be a 3v1.
Teleport coming into the top side though for support, but first blood's already secured by Slogu. Era is there. Can't find Kex. Finds the wave though, so at least we'll clear out the siege.
Yeah, we'll at least clear out the siege indeed, but no teleport from Tosca, so he's probably going to miss another wave. Of course, Era will pick this one up, and no one's in the mid lane right now. Is bot side. Well, trades going back and forth. Yeah, all right. So just the Ignite blown. But a lot of HP traded across the board there as we get a replay of this dive, but honestly, not really much one needed. It's just a really clean setup. Stun into all of the burst. Oscar doesn't even get to flash. So it still has the flash for the 1v1 at the very least. And as highlighted, Hero, of course, came in, cleared the wave, so XP won't go to waste. See that comes down here with the Lee Sin. Oh, Satchel!
And goes low, will survive and walks away. NYYRIKKI get the gank down, but don't get the kill.
Yeah, very close to turning that into a kill there, Vatican. Very close to dropping as MC continues to farm out. Haven't really had much to say about MC so far in the opening 6 minutes of this game. Just been farming away, with the exception, of course, that top side dive. And Riddle don't really have to do too much as this is looking like a complete all-in here.
Level 6 though. Dominus is pop, but Oscar has to pop the ghost, but has to flash away as well. Won't be able to get the heals, so needs to be very careful about continuing this one. And we'll run back up towards tower. Desija is moving up, as is Abignale, which as you called earlier on, the supports might want to get involved, and Kex needs to be a little bit careful about getting caught.
Yeah. Gets the calls, you would imagine, from the rest of the lineup. Kex does. Guys, Leona's missing from bot. Don't do anything crazy. Of course, didn't really have too much information on where Lee was, but given he was bot not too long ago, you can imagine it's not hard to see him make an appearance there. So Kex wins out on the 1v1, gets the flash from Patoska. Patoska still not level 6 yet. If he had level 6, maybe a little more willing to try and take that 1v1 outright. Very close to proccing all 5 stacks of the passive as well. Couldn't quite get that swing out to get the heal, get that 5th stack out. But without Ulma, it was always going to be a trade that Kex wins. Surprised, I suppose, to some degree that we haven't necessarily seen a Dragon attempt. It feels like, so far in the NLC, a lot of teams are willing to try and just outright start these things near on spawn, but with this very farm-centric bottom side, I can't say I am all too surprised. But I will say, would like to see Nukes try and walk out of lane a little bit. Walk up towards the mid lane, walk up towards the top side maybe. This Ezreal, you can be happy with him farming on an island by himself. I think you really want to try and get some leverage out of the concussive blow stacks, out of the Yasuo Diana. Speaking of Diana, MC eyeing up a top side gank. No summoner spells on Patoska, but obviously on a ward, so this gank a little harder to pull off, so what should be called off here.
And with the ultimate now being available for Patoska, diving in and getting low is much scarier. Desida moving into mid lane towards slow Q just to kick a couple of minions, but MC moving on to the side will flash out of the stun. We'll be able to get away. Nice ultimate onto 2. Yasuo follows up. Aero manages to escape, but Lee Sin not so lucky. It's another kill for Riddle.
Yeah, Riddle find the combination between MC and slow Q. Moonfall into last breath, secures their kill onto Desida here on the Lee Sin. Desida trying to help Eero push out, but I'm not entirely sure what the goal is for it, to be totally honest with you. Nice for MC to get the second dash in, and of course, seen this combo dozens of times. Nice little bit of T-Tors. Let's see Lee Sin fall to his demise, and it looks like it will be a Rift Herald startup. Nice little knock up here by Slowq, but eats a nasty chunk on the back end. Doesn't have any life still to vamp back up either, so damage will stick for now.
MC had a very, very exceptional early game so far in this game. Looking very good, running the Rift, getting 2 assists and helping the team get ahead. In the bot lane, the push is still going the way of Riddle, Fanacan and Nukes. And I mean, we want to see Nukes roaming, you said, but if the team is able to get stuff going and he can give that extra level of support to Fanacan in the bot lane, is it necessarily required?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I guess if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Like, you're kind of winning the game this way right now. You could be winning harder, I suppose, if Nukes just kind of walks around the map with MC at this point, especially at level 6. But like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let them go for this 2v2 in the bottom side. At the same time, it kind of makes the Leona have to stick around on the bottom side too, just to ensure Ziggs doesn't get Dove free man or anything like that. So it does kind of negate NYYRIKKI on the opposite side. I will say, of course, we had questions about NYYRIKKI's early game yesterday. It was more, of course, praising Estrada's talents, ability to kind of shut down NYYRIKKI's early playmaking abilities. But this game, it really does feel like NYYRIKKI have sort of been sat on their hands a little bit. They're not really looking to be the provocateurs in any of these fights anywhere. Desida hasn't really been able to find access anywhere, and I don't think it's necessarily to much fault of his own. The lane setup hasn't really been too great for him. But again, I feel like it's that sort of symptom, that lack of walking around as a jungle support duo here, and trying to find picks around your priority or Fox were like, this is what I want to see between the two. Yes, they're a little bit far away from each other in this case, but just trying to roam around as a duo to your lanes where you know you can find these kills and turn them into objectives very easily.
Trying to turn that dragon into their first objective of the game. Abignale and Tacida in that bot side. Hero coming through just to make sure that everything looks good, and it has been secured. Chemtech off the table. Cloud will also go off the table as that one is the next to spawn in 5 minutes time. A bit of a later first dragon than we're used to seeing around here at the NLC. But NYYRIKKI...
Sorry, 1 in 4 for a Hextech dragon.
Just have faith.
Yeah,
the observers are on our side this time. Hiprid's gone. And now we're going to get the engaged. SlowQ going to be able to flash away from all of the CC. And MC moving on forward, might be looking to get something going, but won't be able to find Leona on the contrary for Ezreal to an Nervale as well. And everyone parts ways as friends, as once again there's no kills.
Yeah, but SlowQ does have to blow his flash, so a little vulnerable potentially to a return gank here. We'll have to see whether or not NYYRIKKI try and find the angle through there. Of course, MC did pick up the Herald a couple of minutes ago, running out of time to drop that one, so keep your eyes peeled on what direction he decides to path towards. And you've, of course, got bottom side, which is the most likely here. I think mid, however, because there's a Ziggs and a Victor in the game, even if you drop it just for 2 plates, I think it's worth doing. Just to be able to get that tower down to half HP, maybe you secure the second Herald, and then you can crack that mid lane tier 1 open. It seems like that's the idea they've got here. And I think it just makes the most sense, because if you leave this mid tier 1 high up in HP, it's just going to be a pain in the backside later on in the game to have to deal with. For now, though, MC a little more interested in these chickens. I suppose, maybe the eyes are on the top side because that tower is so low. And of course, SlowQ roaming up there too, and this is a pretty meaty trade. Oscar heals up a little bit. The Sid is here, but it's still going to be a 2v3 at the best.
Oh, gonna get caught out by Riddle. SlowQ and MC. There's teleport coming in onto the top side. Aero once again making sure that nothing's amiss, and this time will save Patoska and Desija from the dive. 3v3 up here. Ziggs and Braum both in the neighborhood, though. We're going to see a first big fight of the game. They're going to be able to catch out SlowQ. He's stunned up. He's taken down. Shut down onto Abignale. First kill of the game for NYYRIKKI.
First kill of the game for NYYRIKKI. Nice little pick. Capitalization here. I believe Nukes should be fine walking out.
He'll be fine.
Stand behind me. And Rift Herald summoned in the top side, I believe. So Herald will go up there and crash into the tower. Won't quite execute, I believe, but it'll be pretty close. There you go. About 400 HP or so left on that tower. So first tower blood, definitely available for Riddle if they want to find it through the top side. But like I said, I think it's definitely going to be a bit of an issue that they don't drop it in the mid lane as things go on. Just because Victor, Ziggs, such irritating champions to remove from the mid lane. So much wave clear. All you're really working with from Riddle is dive, right? So you have to dive into these champions, and they don't necessarily mind when you've got all of this peel. Leona, Lee Sin, even Darius if he's there on top of them. You've got the ability to pull all of these melee champions off your carries with the apprehend. If you're in this death ball kind of scenario. I think Riddle, yes, you get the gold, but I feel like the long-term implications could be a bit of an issue, potentially, if they don't start to build leads elsewhere.
I think it should also be noticed that we've had a bit of a... We've seen where the action has been, but it's also notable where the action hasn't been. Aero on the Victor quietly found himself 144 farm in 14 minutes, and we know how strong this champion can be in these later fights. He hasn't really been called upon in any kind of engagement just yet. 1 assist to his name so far. But this could be the quiet win condition for NYYRIKKI if Riddle can't find a way of shutting him down or getting someone notably ahead, because while they've had a decent game and have built a little bit of a gold lead as tower plates fall off, there hasn't been a hugely notable one just yet.
Yeah, I suppose you're definitely right in that regard. Riddle's sort of effective range in their composition is kind of short, right? They are 4 melee champions. Yes, they have gap closers to sort of negate some of that. So I'm going to have to hold this point.
Gap close right onto Nukes. Glacial Fissure goes down and disengages the situation, but NYYRIKKI trying to get something done, but can't this time.
Yeah, can't quite find the picks there. Just below the Braum armor, enough disengage, and they do find that tower in the end, so that is gold that goes into their pockets. But yes, Eero on Victor here, as long as he can avoid the Diana knock-up and that combination from Yasuo, I feel like they should be fine. I feel like Eero should be able to have a pretty solid game here. Victor really does love dealing with these short-range compositions like this. As a
MC
dive going on here.
We're going to get the knock-up. The damage coming through is huge. Desiree actually gets the first kill of the fight onto slowq. He's going to be chased away, and Kex on the back line running rampant. Looks for Abagnale. Should be able to find him as well. Riddle take the objective. Riddle take the fight. Riddle take it all.
Yeah, Riddle just too strong right now. And unfortunately for NYYRIKKI, combination found, and not only is it just the last breath and the moonfall, it's also the true shot barrage over the top of it. So yeah, as you can see, Abigail and Desiree almost immediately one-shot off this combination. Do find a lot of space, honestly. They almost do make it out, but Kex has other things to say about that. Abigail, however, does, of course, find this flash over the wall, but Herald does go over to Riddle, and they will drop it in the mid lane. And it will take out a considerable amount of HP, but it's not going to be taking the tower just yet. However, Vatican does have a lot of spare time here, so the tower's effectively as good as dead. It's maybe 5-6 auto attacks in a couple minutes time from dying. So job almost done from Riddle. And once that safety net of a mid lane tower is down, it's going to be a lot easier for Riddle to actually walk into the side lanes, get priority in the mid lane, and force NYYRIKKI into situations where they're not comfortable, because they're always going to have to be catching this mid lane wave.
I think it has to fin the mid lane wave, because Azator and Decidre are moving forward. There will be support now, but remember, this is a Zig, so if he can get a satchel charge down and a couple more autos, that tower is gone. And while the safety net, we're talking about them removing it for NYYRIKKI, Riddle losing that safety net around these neutral objectives in their own mid lane will be problematic, but neither team able to crack that open just yet.
Yeah, NYYRIKKI were moving into the bot side, maybe thinking about picking on slowq. However, they decide to call that one off, walk back towards the mid lane, and not go for the aggressive play. A little while until we will see a neutral objective on the map. 3 minutes away is the Baron, so I guess now is probably a good time to talk about items.
Okay.
As Ezreal has his tier fully stacked up on his way to what looks like a Divine Sunderer, so looking for that a strong 2 spike. slowq on his way. I'm actually curious to see whether or not he goes more Reminder or he pivots now into the Infinity Edge. I think now that obviously lethal tempo is in the game, you hit that attack speed cap in combat quite quickly, so you can normally go for that Infinity Edge immediately. Kex will rotate here into the mid lane to secure this mid lane tier 1, so there's that safety net gone. And then yeah, on the opposite side, everyone else just about has mythics for NYYRIKKI. Gore Drinker ×2 for the top jungle, Crown of course for the Victor, and Leandri's there for the Ziggs, and has that tier stacking up. So once you hit that 2 spike, especially for the Victor as well, you'd imagine NYYRIKKI will feel a lot more comfortable trying to find fights, but it's all about avoiding that combination here from the Yasuo Diana.
slowq in a lot of trouble. Arrow there as well, putting damage down as the Victor. Will they be able to grab the kill? Actually, slowq is surviving a surprisingly long time, misses the knock-up, but slides away. Arrow comes forward for the kill as Nukes backs away. That'll be one for NYYRIKKI. On the top side, there's going to be a dive coming through from Car, but he does have to be careful and will ghost to safety, but Kex not interested in being dove.
Yeah, Kex pretty fine here. Complete isolation almost, and actually Patoska's probably in trouble. I don't know how this is going to end. It's a bit of a Mexican standoff.
Okay, it's coming on through the wall trying to get the damage down, but Patoska's like, no, I'm a leave, thanks very much. And Redditor's like, yeah, sound, no worries.
Yeah. All right, cool. What's the thing? I'm not even going to try and make the reference. They walk out, they walk away from each other. Patoska's happy to walk away alive, I suppose. And yeah, no harm, no foul. Ghost blown for nothing. Ultimate's not even technically traded. Patoska still has his, but no chance to actually execute the big crocodile. So, I guess Barrett up in 50 seconds. That's maybe the point of contention, but Dragon 2 minutes away. We'll have to see, as these guys really do love fighting. We didn't get much of it in the early game, but now that they've been sort of left alone on this topside island, it seems like they are more willing to butt heads.
Which is great for Riddle. Kex is in a really strong position. Is going to look towards the Darius once again. Patoska turning it around, apprehending, getting the slow, and will Kex be called out? There is the blast code there, and he's going to take Lee Sin with him, but he's 3 levels higher. The Zigzag might even the playing field a little bit, and the kick through gets the kill to Ricky. Kind of a solo kill for Lee Sin, maybe?
No, the downtown.
Another solo kill for the CJ. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Alright, okay, yeah. Another solo kill. You're right. Eero doesn't seem to care about this tower or his crown, so we'll walk. Oh wait, it doesn't get popped by tower, does it?
No.
I think it's only champion damage. He still has it visibly. That's interesting interaction from Crown. But yes, taking this top tier 1 here and just a little bit of extra gold in NYYRIKKI's favor, clawing back that deficit they find themselves in right now. And will help them go fairly far away, as second item completed for Hero is going to be the Shadow Flame. Of course, the Magic Pen Shields item, there's quite a few shields actually across the board for Riddle, especially amongst the top side. So they will have some value there. That extra pen can't be understated, especially when you pair it up with those Sword Boots. You start to deal pretty close to true damage if champions aren't building any magic resist. So definitely a nice little pickup in this regard. Looks like Riddle will be the ones with priority, and it's going to feel really bad when you're the team with Victor and Ziggs. You normally want to be in front of the objective first. You want the enemy team to walk into your skill shots. But they have wrestled a little bit of control. Maybe they could posture their way back in, but Riddle, for now, they're just going to have first move. But they don't have numbers. Kex is in the top side right now. He does have teleport, however, so can immediately turn into a 5v5. I think NYYRIKKI, as long as they can keep...
Oscar?
As long as they can keep the divers off of Victor, off of Ziggs, I think they'll be fine. But as soon as they lose those members, things get really, really tricky for them. They won't have a lot of immediate burst damage. And like you said, you call out Tosca, he gets chunked out. And that is the signal for NYYRIKKI to just give up this dragon. And Riddle will take their second ocean. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Hex Tech. And we didn't really talk about it.
Not this game, but we said that we would play it this evening. It's fine. Oceans are fine. It's a fun little dragon. You get some of that regen. We saw yesterday, actually, how pivotal it can be in longer fights and longer engagements. I believe it was the Singularity game where the fights were just insane because Vanir were just not dying, kind of thing. But it's been a bit of a slow burn. There's been some action. Riddle have the lead, but again, it doesn't feel insurmountable. Slow Q needs to be a little bit careful as members of NYYRIKKI are moving in around him. Decision can follow through, and everyone's just throwing ultimates down. They don't want Yasuo anywhere near this fight. He manages to get the knock up and actually surviving a surprisingly long amount of time. The Zigzag is burnt as well before the kill goes down. And Luke's backs away, but now NYYRIKKI, they've got the kill. They've used some resources. They need to grab an objective, and top tower could be on the menu.
Yeah, top tower should be on the menu here. Slow Q just caught out. Unfortunate back timing for MC as well. It means that he is left practically alone. And pretty much a dinner time snack for NYYRIKKI, who pick up that kill. And they don't really get too much else for it, but it just buys them a little bit of time for perhaps a little bit of setup, maybe even a rotation into this mid lane tower. So pick turns into this mid lane tower in the end, as MC dashes forward. I suppose takes away Hero's crown, so maybe looking at that, if they were going to try and eye up a fight afterwards, would definitely be very much a Riddle style of play to look for a fight, even in a situation where maybe other teams would not. But it's been quite a slow one. I don't necessarily blame these two teams, but you have to imagine as things go on, it kind of benefits NYYRIKKI a little more. I think when you're in a position where you've got all of this wave clear, you've got all of this scaling between your two mages in Victor and Ziggs, and all of this short range from Riddle, it can get a little bit difficult, honestly, to continuously find your combination of Moonfall into Last Breath, assuming NYYRIKKI, don't just give you freebies. So Riddle, I feel like they might want to put their foot on the gas a little bit, try and find another opportunity to try and push the lead that they've had, which has slowly been shrinking over the last couple of minutes.
Exactly.
A little further. Otherwise, they could be in a little bit of trouble in terms of closing out this game.
The crown's back on Victor's head as well, so that big Riddle play didn't come to fruition with the reset coming on through, but absolutely, NYYRIKKI might feel a little bit happier of the two sides for the slowing pace, A, because they were behind, and B, because they've got maybe a couple more tools. And one thing that I need to keep your eyes on and everyone's eyes on is slow Q in this game. We mentioned that he's been called out a couple of times. Riddle actually going to start at the Baron immediately. They want to get this one done while they know that people are MIA. Petroska doesn't have teleport at all in his kit, so he won't be able to get involved. Kex has that one available, but it could be cancelled out. And NYYRIKKI actually going to be moving directly towards this one, trying to contest it, getting vision and forcing Riddle to back away. So they try for the objective, they don't get it, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. Honestly, respectable attempt as Kex dashes in. Imagine dash back out. A little bit of a trade here between the top laners on the bottom side, but I'm not sure who it really benefits. I feel like Petroska kind of okay with these kind of trades. If you're starting to chunk out HP, actually, I think full-blown fight kicks off on the bottom side because Renekton has cast his ultimate, but I guess more of a defensive tool here. A siege in the mid lane. Wow, MC maybe.
Little bit of damage going down onto him. Will it be enough to force the siege through? Are they going to be able to get such a charge? They won't, as Azador's forced to back away by Slowq, move in forwards, and the tower will survive another day, but NYYRIKKI definitely starting to ramp up and being the ones pulling the trigger a little bit more as time goes on.
Yeah, I feel like NYYRIKKI, they felt the air in the game kind of change a little bit. They recognize, all right, Riddle's comp, it's not necessarily falling off, but our comp is gaining a little more efficiency in how it can actually operate in these team fights. The ease of access is starting to close. That window is starting to close for Riddle, where they can just find these really easy combinations in these sort of weird skirmish situations, which are kind of given to you sometimes in the earlier stages of the game, right? But as things start to turn a little more uniform, and we get these 1-3-1 situations where the game starts to slow down, you've got all this wave clear, NYYRIKKI, they're just saying, okay, we're 2.5 items on both of our carries now. We can just start to look for these picks. We can start to look for these, Leona engages into all of this burst damage onto a carry, because we know that we have the items now, and this gold lead is effectively null and void. When you look at the inventory, the items are effectively actually at parity. So they're not too fussed anymore. They're very capable of fighting. The only issue for them is going to be actual entry into these objectives. If they have to walk in, that's going to actually give Riddle the opportunity to find engage.
MC gets the catch out. It's big. It's on the Decidra. The Lee Sin, but MC has to go golden himself to stay alive on a sliver of health. Does get taken down by Aero as they look to try and get onto Victor, but he's untouched in the backline. Nukes gets on him. Fanakan finally gets onto him, and he's going to have to go golden. Who can get there first? It's going to be Riddle, and they're going to be able to take him down. Decidra still alive somehow in the fight. Avignala gets the stun down. Azador needs to escape, gets the Satchel of Freedom, but Fanakan will turn towards the spot. Will be able to secure it, but Tosca's turned up, grabs one onto Nukes. He can't get a second as he's going to have to use his stopwatch. Diving forward, Fanakan gets a triple, looking for more, looking for the Quadra, will be able to find it. Azador, only man to escape, but Riddle takes the fight.
Fanakan finds the quadra kill. That's going to be the dragon for Riddle here. Savior, the AD carry. He's been silently scaling. We barely talked about the AD carry on the side of Riddle the entire game, really. It's been more about the scaling of NYYRIKKI, the top side skirmishing potential of, this Darius and the Lee Sin. All the while, this Ezreal's been scaling his 2.5 items. And in this fight, he just gets complete freedom to do whatever he wants. There's no threat from NYYRIKKI because all of the attention is on the front line for the most part. Just look at him on the bottom side, just autoing all of these free targets 24/7 from start to finish in this fight. And of course, it's a 5v4 as well. This is actually a fight that Riddle can just kind of freely win because the Darius isn't here for so long. And the only threat that Ezreal really sees in this fight is Victor, who kind of just face it floods with the flash. And it's all about Kex as well, keeping all of the members from NYYRIKKI away. And yes, okay, a little bit scary here once Darius shows up. But again, he's not on one of the key members, which is Fanakan, for this Riddle lineup. And eventually you just see he cleans up here with that quadra kill.
Simple as that. And while only 2 survived, only 1 survived from NYYRIKKI, so a little bit worrying for them. The gold lead has grown once more. Riddle in a comfortable position, asterisk. They've still got decent items. They're still not in a bad position. Abignali is in quite a bad position, though, as he's going to be caught out, has to use the ultimate Decidra, thinking about how he can save him, but really doesn't have a solution here. Petoska would rather get the red buff than get involved in the fight, and that's an easy pick now moving towards the Baron. There's going to be no support from NYYRIKKI if this one's started up by Riddle, and it looks like it will be.
Yeah, it will be, and the issue is there's still the Moonfall plus that Last Breath combination available. And again, it's that uncomfortable position where a Victor and a Ziggs have to walk into an objective, and that's the scariest thing when you're dealing with all of the snap engage here. Fanakan really, really audaciously shifting forward. You can see he's confident after that quadruple. He's got all of the items he needs. Teleports are here. Riddle, they're going to flip it on this Baron. It's 4v5. They feel like this is the best opportunity they'll get.
The Sidra on the Lee Sin. Keep your eyes on him going forward. Can he get it? Yes, he can! The Baron is taken by NYYRIKKI. Kex on the side is forced to back away on a sliver of health. Don't start Baron against the Lee Sin. The coin flips badly for Riddle.
Yeah, Riddle, they take the 50-50, they lose the 50-50. It's more like a 60-40 when you think about it, just because the Lee Sin execute the Ziggs ultimate as well. It's just too much burst damage that comes through. Get the replay. It starts off with Abignale getting caught out just outside of the river here, trying to retreat back into his own jungle. And you can see the Sidri, he doesn't really know what to do. He's unsure whether or not he can actually save support. The answer is most certainly no. And then we fast forward a couple of seconds more. You get the start up on the Baron by Riddle, and this is the NYYRIKKI approach where, you know, you have to be cautious. Like we were saying, you've got the Ziggs, you've got the Victor. They know, realistically, you know, it's going to be difficult. Victor just walks, eventually decides to teleport, and then there's just no coverage on this Lee Sin whatsoever. They know where he is, but you can't stop him from getting inside the pit. Ultimate from Ziggs, E, Smite, secure from the Lee Sin. Even though he goes down, he dies a hero. Deny away that Baron from Riddle, and I mean, you know, you get the Baron, there's still a lot of wave clear, but the thing that Baron does kind of negate sometimes can be all of that stacked up wave clear. Now with Riddle not having the Baron, NYYRIKKI get to delay the game even further, and the only thing they have to worry about is this Ocean Soul, which as long as they can get priority inside the mid lane and be the first one to set up inside that Dragon Pit, they should be okay in most of these fights.
It's the fascinating thing of going, Lee Sin's hit that Q, but he doesn't have the burst to take it down from 2k, and Ziggs is like, say no more, lad. I've got you covered. Small reminder that Aztor is still in this game, about to hit 300 farm. Hasn't really been called on to do that much as the Ziggs, just been wave clearing and having a great time, which, of course, NYYRIKKI do have that Ziggs and the Victor for wave clear, which is going to be great for them now that they've got this Baron buff. It's only on 3 members, but you've got to hope that they will be able to come through and get some push, get some objective, and kind of look to close the gold lead that is still 3k against them. But this game has been very back and forth, and in this league, at NLC, you're not allowed to start the Baron. It's just not allowed.
Yeah, honestly, the NLC out of any league that I follow might have the most Baron steals in here. It feels like pretty much every day you at least get, like, bare minimum.
Our junglers are either really good or really bad.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell. Baron smites, I'll be honest, more often than you'd think, not necessarily always on the jungler. I'm not going to get into that right now, because potential skirmish almost happened, but yeah. You know, mix of both, right? Junglers really good at smiting. Some junglers get a little bit trolled by their team, or they're just not good at smiting either. It can happen one way or another. But yeah, in this case, MC outwitted by that Ziggs ultimate with the Lee Sin burst on top of it. And Riddle, there weren't really any other members to like help burst down, so you can't really feel bad for him as Kex. That almost gets pulled into the meat grinder there for a second. Decides to walk back in.
Still is in the meat grinder, but is very, very beefy. And Podolska moving forward, having Gnarly there as well. Looking for the engagement. Podolska gets the dump, but doesn't get the kill. And now has to be careful as healing up as Storm gets in the battleline, still alive. Somehow, but MC needs to be careful. Does manage to flash away. Avinar looks for the ring. The Seedred there as well. Can they get the kill? No, they can't. And it's actually going to be Fadikan getting another kill off the back over the red buff pit. Is throwing down damage left, right, and center. NYYRIKKI loses the member, they lose 2 members, and that's the jungler, crucially. Dragon up, it's 3v5. And NYYRIKKI in a bad spot. Aero going forward, trying to get the kill onto Ezreal. Will be able to find it with the help of Azador, but goes down himself. It's 2v4. Podolska and Azador need to defend for their lives, but all the kills are dead as Ezreal has fallen. Podolska moving down towards the dragon. Won't be able to find it. Slowly moving up. Can he find Ziggs? Can he find Ace? Can he find the guarantee? Yes, he can with the double. This should be a Dragon Soul going to Riddle as they clean up NYYRIKKI.
Yeah, that's almost the clean ace. It's just Fatikan who goes down, and it's because of the pretty ambitious flash from Aero, but it's all to secure that very precious Ezreal that Riddle have been keeping so safe in these team fights. And it kicks off with Kex. Definitely some suspicious positioning, if you ask me. Not entirely sure what the comms were on that one, but re-engage eventually comes on the retreat of Riddle. Abagnale unfortunately dies. The Sidra has the stopwatch, but you can see this fight is just so free for the Ezreal, just over the wall, peppering in all these Mystic shots, and shift into another one, finds the Lee Sin on top of that, and then Eero with this flash forward. It's all about securing the Ezreal. I think Ezreal, so far, like we talked about when he got that quadra kill, he's had such a free game, and I think that's more or less to do because he does outrange a fair amount of this team composition, if not all of it, really, for the most part. And because of that, it has been a bit of a pain in the backside for a lot of these team fights. But now Riddle with the Ocean Soul, against some of the poke that, you know, the Ziggs could offer. Now that's going to be a little bit negated if these fights go on for a little while, which honestly, these fights have been very, very, very lengthy. That Ocean Soul is going to come to effect almost certainly. And now that's going to be another obstacle for NYYRIKKI to overcome.
Riddle, comfy gold lead, have the fed Ezreal, have the Dragon Soul. Things for NYYRIKKI looking bleak, but they do still have some power on the table if they can come back into this game. And that all starts with wave clear coming through from Astor, moving up towards the top side. Slowky getting a lot of damage onto this inner, but won't be caught by the apprehend. Mark shakes off, and Riddle looking for another fight. You can see Aero down that bot side dealing with Kex means that a strong amount of damage from NYYRIKKI isn't there if they want to take this fight. And something interesting to note as well, we mentioned early in the game, actually, Aero could be caught out here. We'll be marching backwards. Fadikan getting the damage down, but misses the Mystic shot. The ultimate goes wide as well. As members of NYYRIKKI will turn up. The fight is going under tower. Ultimate down from Aero to try and keep himself alive as members of NYYRIKKI want to get this one going, want to use what they can. But the answer is nothing as they force members of Riddle away, but the siege continues.
Siege continues, but on the top side, all of these members from NYYRIKKI, they're coming onto the bottom side. Look at the Baron. It's being started up by slowQ, by MC. They want to try and sneak this one away. I'm sure NYYRIKKI are aware, but I mean, what are they going to do about it this time? They have first move just about in front of Fatakan and Nukes. However, I mean, the Baron's just burning. It's gone.
Too quick.
2k. Zigzalt, maybe. Nope, not going to be stolen away this time. And MC secures that one for Riddle. And that's a Baron buff and an Ocean Soul now to deal with. As realistically, it's just the base to knock on for Riddle. So NYYRIKKI gonna have to do some heroics here. They've got the wave clear, but it more or less depends on whether or not Riddle find the angle or find the dive in order to try and close this one out within the Baron timer.
And Riddle have all the tools to do so. It's a case of what can NYYRIKKI do and will Riddle play this one correctly? Because there aren't that many bricks standing outside of the base anymore, and some damage has already been done to the inhibitor towers. So it looks harder and harder for the Finnish representatives to find the stall, find the way back into this game, because it's not just about stabilizing, it's about getting into a winning position, and Riddle have just made that nigh on impossible for the past 5-10 minutes. Taking down the first inhibitor tower in the mid lane, Vatican takes a decent chunk from Aero, but will be able to step away. And the Ezreal safety, we talked about how this Riddle roster really didn't have enough range on enough champions, but they've got all the range they need. They're going into the top side. slowQ needs to be careful, caught out once again, but this time he's got support, he's got mates, damage coming through. Asnor gets a big chunk, but slowQ is still alive. He will go down eventually, but with the GA, teammates are here. The Sieger, first victim of the fight. Vatican just running rampant, free firing on the back line. slowQ doesn't fall. The airball on the Ricky is going to Aero and Azator on the side, but they're going to call out by Ket. They're running back towards their base, towards their Nexus towers. Crocodile is playing Bouncer, looking towards Victor. Can he find him? Not just yet. Knock up from the Satchel, but Inhibitor 1 falls, Inhibitor 2 falls. This could be game. Astor Aero versus 5 from Riddle. Dived onto Astor versus the world. He's going to be forced back into the fountain, throwing bombs, trying to dodge out the kill. Will survive, but his game will not. Just like that, 37 minutes into the game, Riddle grabbed their first win and said